Hi, my name's Andrew Chapman. My background is law enforcement within Australia. I've worked in several jurisdictions within Australia. My team and I have developed a GuardianX screening system which basically protects your organisation or voluntary groups from predators or unsavoury characters coming in to deal with children or vulnerable people. This is my story.
Welcome to the Fair Business Australia podcast. Future-proof your business, impact your community. I'm your host, Rebecca Lloyd.
Welcome, Fair Business Australians, to another episode of the Fair Business Australia podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Lloyd. Joining me today is a gentleman that I met whilst at an event in Gold Coast. We started talking about child safety, child protection, and obviously very, very dear to my heart. I've asked him to come on our podcast today. Andrew, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on board today. Why don't you start by introducing yourself? Who is Andrew Chapman? Where does he come from? What's his background? Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Beck. Okay, a bit about me. I'm not used to talking about me, but anyway, I'll start and we'll see how we go. Originally from Sydney, I grew up at western suburbs of Sydney. My dad was a police officer, inspired me to be a police officer. I joined the New South Wales Police in '93 and stayed at the New South Wales Police till 2006. Through that service, I was fortunate enough to be involved in some great sections. One of them was the New South Wales Crime Commission Special Crime Unit, where we investigated major organised crime internationally and nationally. Most of it was drug importation, high level crime. Worked with the detectives at Waverley and Bondi for a long period of time, and end up running a lot of proactive units and so forth. From there, went over to the Australian Federal Police as the Air Security Officer unit, which in America they refer to as the Air Marshals. Worked there for a bit. Went over to Dubai. I had to resign out of there because my wife had a role in Dubai. She was a lawyer. So went over to Dubai for 2 years. Come back to Western Australia, rejoined the Western Australian Police, stayed there for 12 months. And then from there, went back over east to Queensland, so we ended up rejoining at the Queensland Police. I've got a shirt for nearly every law enforcement agency in Australia. Wow. And ended up working at the Queensland CIB within the Brisbane area for a period of time. So been around a bit, seen a bit, and so that's my kind of law enforcement background. I've got two beautiful children. Montana's just turned 17, just got a licence. And my son is Smithy's 14.
And, now, you talk about being a police officer in multiple states, and that brings very, very happily to what we were talking about regarding how fractioned things are, how segmented things are when it comes to child safety. Now, the police force is state-based. Child safety, you may not know, is actually also state-based. And I think that moves us very well to a story. Talk to us about the story that really brought you into doing what you are doing now, which is GuardianX. Yeah,
well, GuardianX was basically, I think our motivation was an incident that occurred over a year ago, which involved a perpetrator who had been involved in a child education system for a period of 15 years, and he was committing offences all the way through against bubbers, and to try and compose myself, bubbers and so forth. Still gets me upset when I think about it. So our motivational factor was he committed 1,623 offences against children while he's in that trusted environment. Because he'd worked in between different states, we'd identified the fact that he may have been missed by, agencies that should have been detecting him. And had he, that was our motivation to get our system running. We realised there were a few areas within the government systems that could be strengthened, and we wanted to create a system that would embolden the government systems that they've got in place at the moment. Myself, two other gentlemen that are involved. John Galea, he's a former federal police officer and United Nations operative. John's very experienced in the police. He's been in law enforcement for about 20, 25, 26 years. He's out now. And Glenn Burke's another gentleman that's involved in our team, ex-military, spent a lot of time in the military and now is out and is an expert in risk mitigation. He travels Australia quite frenetically, instituting his knowledge base, which is risk mitigation in high level areas. Very knowledgeable gentlemen, and they're a great team. We all have very similar mindsets. We've all got very similar motivations. We're all dads, and we are here to do our best to protect the bubbers. Unfortunately, John and I have had a fair bit to do with over the years dealing with predators through our roles in law enforcement, and I wouldn't say we know how they tick, but having interviewed several over the years and just getting an overview of their manipulative mindsets, even when you've got them cold in an interview room with ample evidence, this manipulative process that they go through. Where John and I are very similar in our experiences with them. He's had a fair bit to do with them as well over the years, and we've found that we could utilise all of our experience and Glenn's risk mitigation expertise to create a system, which is the GuardianX system.
So what we're talking about, folks, is we're not bashing the Working with Children's Check. We're not bashing the blue card. But because people are so manipulative, because people are going, to different states and they know how to work the system, it is remiss of us to think that a governmental organisation that is not boots on the ground can actually be part of solving the issue as it pertains to local communities. And this is where Andrew and his colleagues come in so beautifully for GuardianX. So you talk about we, Andrew. Tell me, who are the people that are involved with GuardianX? What are their backgrounds? Where do they come from? What makes GuardianX so different to just a Working with Children's Check and just a governmental blue card? Over to you.
Okay, when I say we, I refer to John Galea, who's a good friend of mine. He's a former Australian Federal Police officer, and through the Australian Federal Police, he worked with the United Nations for a long period of time internationally, serving over in Europe and the Solomons and a lot of other countries, I think over in Africa at one stage as well. John's very experienced. He's been in law enforcement for over 25 years. He's out now. He's working in the private industry. So basically, John and I have been friends for a period of time, and we initiated this project from the fact that I guess we're both loving dads, and having that incident that I referred to previously, we embarked on this initially. Then Glenn Burke, who's the third part of our team, is a good friend of ours as well, and he's got that risk mitigation kind of expertise, which is a really good complement to what we're doing as well. So so Glenn's background is military. He was an ex-naval officer, and he's now out of the Australian military, but he's become quite the expert in risk mitigation, and he conducts a lot of seminars and courses around Australia, quite high-end courses, and he's a very, very valued member of the team as well. On top of that, we've got an amazing forensic psychiatrist, Dr. Michael Diamond, who John and I have had experience in law enforcement with more so John, where Dr. Diamond has assisted John and law enforcement as a whole in predatory identification through his forensic psychiatrist skills, and very proficient at what he does as well. So he's very highly regarded, Dr. Diamond. So he's come along into our team, and he's basically collaborated with us with the formulation of GuardianX and the system that we've got in place at the moment. So we're very happy with it. So yeah, we've got a really nice, cohesive, strong team, and I'm very happy.
So good, folks. Ex-military, ex-police, forensic psychologist?
Psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist. Wow, that's one step above for those of you who don't know. Now, I was a nanny for about 15 years. You may not know that. And it was very, very easy for me to get a working with children's check when I was down in Sydney. Very, very easy for me to get a blue card. Now, what you may not know is that the working with children's check and the blue card, and I know this from personal experience, they may have changed things now, but certainly back when I was a nanny, it was only if you had been convicted of a sexual offence that you were then deemed not appropriate to be around children. So any kind of smear or anything that might mean that you probably shouldn't be around kids unless you were actually convicted, you could still qualify for a working with children's check and with a blue card. And this is why GuardianX is so, so, so important, because it takes the responsibility of our children right down to a community level. So if you are a faith-based organisation, if you are a play centre, if you are the principal of a school, you can actually get this robust, very, very robust system right into the hands of your employees, so that anybody coming in that might get access to your children that seems squeaky clean because there's nothing on the register about them, you can pick them up before they get access to the children, which is, of course, we all agree that that is absolutely imperative to protect the youth of our communities. So, Andrew, talk to me about what does this process actually look like from a high level, of course. What could I, as a play centre operator, expect when I partner with the GuardianX program? How would I be able to facilitate my staff being able to pick up people that have been able to navigate what is somewhat a fragmented governmental system?
The GuardianX applicant screening system is primarily a single form system that provides an initial introduction and education for the interviewer to undertake or to read. It'll flow onto the questionnaire, and we've got 28 questions within the questionnaire that has been a collaboration between Dr. Diamond, John, Glenn, and myself as to the content of the questions. I actually won't go into the questions, obviously, but the response, we've got a response guide to those questions, which will assist the interviewer in respect to the questions that were provided. And then we've got a traffic light type system that can identify any flags and so forth, red flags to minimal risk. As the form flows along, it will then provide further education for the interviewer. And the reason we've done this in one long form, one long system, is just to provide continuity of interviewing processes from an experienced interviewer to someone not so experienced coming in and interviewing an applicant. Bear in mind, when we're talking about predators, we're talking about manipulative individuals that know what you want to hear and will tell you what you want to hear. So we want to kind of, within our system, we provide a level of reassurance and confidence for the interviewer, depending on their skill levels. And the consistency we're talking about. So there's a consistent level of interviewing as well. So we're not having this inconsistent interviewing that appears to be taking place at the moment of individuals. And that's where a lot of these predators can slip through the net. They'll tell you exactly what you want to hear, and they'll walk through the door because the blue cards are kind of giving a minimal kind of screening process. So that's the applicant screening process that we've got. We're very happy with it. Dr. Diamond is very happy with it. So that the whole collaborative effort's been fantastic. It'll always grow, and we'll always add things to it, and it'll always evolve. Nothing's ever perfect. And in saying that, we're doing our utmost to prevent, and we're not saying it's going to be 100% bulletproof, shark-proof fence for predators to come through. It won't be. We can't give that assurance, but we try our utmost to do our best to prevent that, to prevent any predators or any person that shouldn't be working with children coming through, or vulnerable people.
So good. Folks, this is an absolutely wonderful system because it brings the responsibility and the empowerment right down to a local community level. Whether you're a volunteer, whether you're just starting out, this system is so robust and so educational whilst you're moving through it that even someone in their early 20s could confidently be asking the questions, picking up any inconsistencies because the questions have been well engineered by ex-police, ex-military, forensic psychiatrist, and 28 questions. It's very, very hard to manipulate your way around that, particularly when you don't know what the questions are, and those questions will remain on the hush for obvious reasons.
Yeah, Rebecca, on top of what we provided in relation to the applicant screening assessment form, we've got ongoing educational packages as well that we've entailed into the system. One package, for example, is an online predator identification PowerPoint presentation, which is more so for parents or educators to direct it at children, to give them education, to show them what to look out for, and to educate parents as well to know what to look out for when the kiddies are on the internet, on social media. They're quite it's a quite solid package, and the other package that we've got as well will be directed at educating members of staff, volunteers, management, what to look out for in relation to predatory behaviour. Okay,
wow.
Red flags and so forth. Sorry.
Wow, I love that you've got the online and the offline safety so well covered. So let's talk briefly about this online safety. I know that every parent watching right now's ears have totally pricked up. Your child may very well be out of daycare and they might be in a school or whatever that looks like. But can you be policing them, pun intended? Can you be policing them all the time whilst they're online? No, you can't, but you can educate them. So let's talk a little bit more about this online safety. Is it a PDF you said? Yes?
Yeah, it's a PowerPoint presentation. So the PowerPoint presentation is very self-explanatory. We've basically streamlined it down, so it's there's not too much fluff in it. We just kind of kept it straight to the point. And I guess an example I could provide that would be entailed within that system is the PowerPoint presentation is the potential grooming of children online and how to identify. So forth in relation to, and in particular, we got scammers and so forth giving in false pretense of what their identity really is. We've given a few tips and so forth in relation to that. So, people sending out photos of themselves, which are obviously fictitious, to prove that identity. What we suggest is if you throw three fingers in front of your face straight away to the person sending the photos, and you will find that they won't be able to do that because they won't be able to find in their catalogue photos of people with three fingers on their face straight away. Just simple things that people can, if they're sitting on the fence and they're not sure, to really attest whether or not the person is genuine or not. That they're speaking to online, but lots of tips, lots of educational kind of factors there, and there's a lot of areas that the children would be more than interested to see from their various TikTok and social media platforms, that they'll see how high risk it is and what the propensity is for groomers to be on site, and the lack of very limited enforcement of protectional mechanisms from those sites. Where they're very basic. So at the end of the day, all they want is, I'm speaking broadly, but a lot of them just, it's all about cash flow, and the protection of children to mitigate any risk to them is put behind the wayside, which is quite sad. But we try to provide that try to provide that level of education that can best protect them, to the best of our ability anyway.
So good, folks. We must bring protection for our youth back to a community level, back to a family level, and not leave it to the governmental organisations. They mean well, but there simply is too many predators out there, not enough structure in place at a governmental level to be able to capture these people. It's up to us at a local community level to do that. You've got online, you've got offline by three highly trained, been in the field for many years, have pulled together their resources to be able to empower you, to educate you, to ask the right questions, be able to catch those people so that they don't get access to our children. So before I tell you how you can get access to a free PowerPoint download today for online safety, and I know that every single parent or anyone that's got access to any children, whether it's an auntie or an uncle or whatever you are, you're going to want your kids to be watching that. Before I go to that, Andrew, I want to ask you, what is your big dream? Because this is really a hard road, folks. Now, the government is already interested in taking a look at what GuardianX has got to do because of the amount of experience that they bring to the plate. But, it is going to remain a community responsibility to protect our children. And whilst those hard yards are being trudged out, what is your big dream, Andrew? Why have you got GuardianX going, and what do you see for the future of Australia?
Okay, well, I think our massive motivation is focusing on education, and that's educating the educators. So educating individuals working within a voluntary organisation, and to instill a sense of empowerment for those individuals to not sit back and have a gut feeling that things aren't right and sit back and think, oh, no, I'll err on the side of caution and I won't say anything. What we want to do is instill some a level of education and, as I said, I mentioned previously, just some empowerment to get up there and speak out, because these predators, they thrive on the fact that good people, second guess themselves, and they target good individuals because they know good individuals have got a conscience and won't report incidents if their marginal suspicions are allayed. That's what they thrive on. They just push the barriers. We want to say we won't wait to get to the level to get to DEFCON 5. We wait till to get to DEFCON 1. As soon as we've got a little bit of an inkling of an issue, we want it reported so we can hopefully nip it in the bud before it even starts, and let predators know, and let people that should not be working with children know that you're going to be pointed out, you're going to be identified, and you're going to be taken out of the system. And it's a collective effort. And what we're trying to do is empower people, get everyone on board, and get people to entrust their instincts, get people to entrust their mindsets and their conscience, and be aware of the fact that these individuals thrive on your good character. They thrive on your good character. That's a big lesson, because they will make you second guess your instincts, and they'll build and build and build until it gets to the point where you a good person thinking, you're questioning your own belief system, your own your own mindset, and that's what they do. They try to play with your mind. We're just saying, listen, don't even go to that level. As soon as you get a gut instinct, as soon as you see something that is mildly untoward, call it out. If there's nothing in it, so be it. Call it out anyway. Let's and again, collective effort. So we want everyone to get on board. And I'll segue into the fact that we've got an anonymous reporting system as part of our system, and we've primarily put that together because we know within workplaces and so forth, there may be some level of uncomfortableness with the person that identifies as another staff member, another volunteer, acting in a way that they think is inappropriate around children, or acting in a way that they shouldn't be acting in relation to vulnerable people, so people with a disability, for example. They may be on the precipice of going to the next level where they could be deemed an offence or deemed reportable, but we want to encourage members of the volunteer groups or organisations to utilise our system. They can contact us and we'll act as a conduit to reporting. They don't have to provide, obviously, the way our system is designed in our form is that we don't know who's sending it. We won't be able to find out, but we'll know where it's coming from in the form of the organisation that's been sent from. We will then follow up the reporting to the organisation's management, so they don't have to worry about facing the manager and getting a bad name, for example, think they're going to get a bad name. They shouldn't anyway. They shouldn't have to, but that's life. That's a society we live in. We'll alleviate that, but we'll most certainly follow that complaint up with management. And again, it would be like a system of triage. We will being with our level of expertise within law enforcement, we will be able to ascertain if that complaint is worthy of escalation up to a different level of law enforcement or another layer of government organisation we can liaise with as well. So we can get onto it basically and act in a very proficient manner.
Folks, so good. I am so encouraged, and I'm so glad that I met Andrew at this event, because otherwise, I tell you what, the sliding doors moments, those serendipitous moments, dare I say, there is help from above for our children. So for those of you who would like to get that online safety, predatory, empowerment, educational, all those other buzzwords that I love to use around child safety, you can click the link, go through, fill in your details. You'll get access to that immediately. Business owners, for those of you who would like more information, you can also go through, click the link, you'll get information to be able to liaise with GuardianX and talk about getting that as part of your environment, which obviously is a no-brainer, right? So any final words before we wrap up today regarding GuardianX, Andrew? Any final words to our listeners and our watchers?
Oh, no, as I said, I just reiterate the fact that I'm very appreciative of you having me on your podcast and allowing us to have a broader audience. It's a relatively new system that we've got, but it's quite a big initiative and a new initiative in Australia, and we love it. We're confident with it. We put our heart and soul into it and all our experience, and we know if it changes, it affects one child's life that we can protect. We've done our job. We want to protect a lot more, and we need the community's assistance and efforts as far as organisations and voluntary groups to come on board as well, and we work as a big team.
So
Thanks,
good.
Rebecca.
So good, Andrew. So a collective experience of well over 50 years. That is not a new idea. It's a new system, but it's not new education. So thank you so much, Andrew, today. If you have a business idea or a community initiative that you would like to get out to our broader audience, we would love to hear from you. Reach out to us and we'd love to get you on the podcast. Once again, have a great day. Remember, you're awesome. Chat soon and God bless.
Have you got a great business or community initiative you'd like to share with our podcast audience? We'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us today at fairbusinessaustralia.com.au.